are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So they've been a little bit quiet over the last couple of months, but Indian Adrians struck again today. It's my fault. I keep on giving them the benefit of the doubt. So there's no interaction between me and the fucking Indian Adrians anymore. We just ghost each other. I ghost the fuck out of them. I don't even ask them what they're up to. I just give them a fucking eyeball whenever I see them. And they ghost me like they're a fucking adult. I should slap the shit out of these little cunts. And every time I start feeling fucking sorry for Indian Adrians, start getting guilty. Like, I'm an adult. I need to be more mature about this. They're just a couple of kids. They're a couple of little fucking grimy little rat fucks. I need to be the adult. But whenever I start feeling that, whenever I act on that guilt, I get it spat directly back in my face. And it's Indian Adrians as well. It's not just one now. Both of them are fucking Adrians. The older one's a little bit more Adrian than the younger one, but the younger one is very fucking Adrian. So we're out shopping, having a look for Sharvanis or whatever the fuck they are. They're like these princely jackets. It's the last thing I need for the wedding coming up in 2 weeks. It's not the last thing I need. The last thing I need to do is lose about another 2 kilos, tighten up the rig, get that 6-pack happening so I can fucking throw it in the face of the Indians that are going to be at the wedding. Because all the aunties and uncles and all the family are talking about how rich my fucking sister-in-law's future husband is and what a catch he is because he's rich and a doctor. He's a doctor as well, all right? He's not just rich, but he got handed a lot of fucking money. He didn't fucking earn it, all right? But Indians don't give a fuck about that. All they care about is how much money you got. And they know I have none. They thought I had some at the start. When I first got married to my wife, all the aunties and uncles treated me like I was a millionaire. And I tried to explain it to them. I was like, I don't have any money. You don't have to be nice to me. They're all talking about going into business and shit. I'm like, I won't be going into business with any of you. And they didn't believe me. And then over the years, they began to believe me. And now they very, very much believe me. So now they don't give a fuck about me, which is fine with me. But I think my wife's getting a little bit pissed off about people raving about my sister-in-law's future husband. So I need to fucking bring out some guns while I'm at the wedding. And the way I'm going to compete is fucking rig. Because the rich doctor's a fatty. And so is everyone else at the wedding. This is how petty I am. I am training my ass off just to walk around the swimming pool at the wedding with my shirt off. But anyway, that didn't really need to be made public. Let's get back to it. So I was shopping for a Sharvani, which is like basically an Indian fucking Maharaj prince jacket. I got a bunch of photos of me trying them on. I'll chuck them up on Instagram so you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So anyway, we were out shopping and we were walking the coronavirus fucking petri dish streets, and a guy comes up to us and he had fairy floss, some pink shiny fucking fairy floss. And my kid got excited, so I'm like, all right, you can get some fairy floss. And it was 20 rupees. I had 100 rupees. And I'm like, do you have change? And whenever you say that, they never have change. So I'm like, all right, give me 2 more. I'll get 2 more for the Adrians. So I bought the 3 fairy flosses, and my kid wanted to eat it immediately. But I'm like, nah. Just wait till we get home, and you and the 2 Adrians, you can eat it together and enjoy it. So anyway, we get home, and my kid's all excited, and the Adrians are nowhere to be seen. So I'm like, all right, they're playing somewhere. Go find them. Tell them to come here, and I'll give you all the fairy floss at once. So anyway, my kid sprints down the fucking street, looks for them, finds them. They come back. My kid runs inside, grabs the 3 fairy flosses, takes them outside, and then like 5 minutes later, he's walking back inside. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, they went back out to play. They didn't want to eat it with me. And I'm like, these little fucking cunts. These little fucking cunts. Every single fucking time. It's my fault. It's my bad. It's my fault. I thought when you get fairy floss, it's better to eat it with someone else. Share the enjoyment. A nice moment in time together. Everyone just eating fairy floss. These 2 little cunts just took the fairy floss, no fucking thank you, no fucking gratitude, and walked off and went and played, leaving my kid there with a fucking pink tongue and a pink face. My kid didn't give a fuck. He was just happy to have the fairy floss. It was me who gave a fuck. These cunts are getting nothing from me ever again. It's just never fucking ending with these Adrians. All of them, all the Adrians. They can fucking forget about any fairy floss coming my way. Anyway, that's enough berating a 10 and 12-year-old kid. Let's move on to this week's Ask Boyle. Send me a question, I'll make a rhyme. It's Ask Boyle time. So for the new listeners, Ask Boyle is self-explanatory. This is the listener's opportunity to ask me a question. It can be about anything. It can be personal. It can be about any topic, because I have a wealth of knowledge in all areas of wisdom. I can never think of the right word there. Let's call it wisdom. So if you would like to send in an Ask Boyle, hit me up on social media. Actually, can you just email me now? It's getting too hard to keep track of all the Ask Boyles and the Fucked Up Fridays and the I'm gonna commit suicide messages. So if you want to ask me a question, or you're on the ledge and you're about to jump, just email me. Email me on boylecomedy@gmail.com. And if you are thinking about committing suicide, I promise to get back to you within 4 to 5 working days. So anyway, let's get to this week's Ask Boyle. So this week's Ask Boyle is all the way from Texas, the Lone Star State. Can someone in Texas please offer me a fake job so I can migrate there? I'm not going back to Australia the way it is. So anyway, this Ask Boyle was sent in by Dingus Khan. So Dingus asks, what were the different factors that drew you into wanting to become a comic? And what were some instances in life that gave you the confidence that you could be successful at it? I'd also be interested in hearing your top 5 all-time comics in order, if possible. All right, Dingus, you have come to the right place. So the first thing I'm going to address is, what were some of the instances in life that gave you the confidence that you could be successful at it? For starters, I'm not successful. I did a gig 2 nights ago in a tattoo parlor in my socks. Being on stage in your socks is not a sign of a successful comedian. So that's that. That's all you need to know about my success. And the other component of that question was, what were some of the instances in life that gave you the confidence that you could be successful, that gave you the confidence to believe you could get on stage at a tattoo studio in your socks? Well, this is all you need to know about stand-up comedy. You do not need confidence to do stand-up comedy. If you look at like 99.9% of stand-up comedians, they're not confident people. They've got some sort of mental illness. That is what it really is. ADHD, depression, schizophrenia, OCD, narcissism, bipolar, split personality complex, whatever the mental illness is, there's a comedian who's got it. So you don't really need confidence. You just need to be delusional enough to start it. Now you know those 2 things, I'll answer your initial question. What were the different factors that drew you into wanting to be a comic? Well, my mental illness was strong. I think I had a little, or I still do, have a little drop or 2 of all those mental illnesses. Maybe except the OCD. No, definitely except the OCD. So I was plenty delusional enough. But also, I was always funny. Not always funny to everyone. Like, there were plenty of people that did not find me funny at all. But at every stage and in every place I went to, I could always make people laugh. It would be a 50-50 split, really. I would make 50% of the people fucking howl with laughter, and the other 50% of people would fucking hate me. So if you went back in time and asked all the people that I'd hung out with throughout the years if I was funny, half of them would say I was fucking funny, and the other half would say he's one of the world's biggest cunts. I hope he dies. There wasn't a lot of middle ground. And I had always wanted to do stand-up. I either wanted to be a writer or a stand-up. And I didn't know how to write at all. And I knew how to be funny. So I thought that might be able to translate. But there was one particular fucking moment where I'm like, all right, I'm going to be a comedian. I think I've talked about it before, but it was after a bad fucking acid trip. I'd had an ego death the night before. I fucking floated outside my body. I looked down on myself. My whole entire fucking personality was shattered into a fucking billion different pieces. I had nothing. I had no anything to stand on anymore. But I remember waking up in my mate's shed after this acid trip. I was fucked, and I walked over to my other mate, Dino's house. Dino wasn't there. A couple of other mates were there, and I just lay on the couch, and I tried to piece my personality back together after it being shattered completely the night before, and I couldn't piece it together. Everything I had lived up until that point was false. Everything was a lie. Everything was some fucking bullshit I had told myself. My personality fell apart because it was all bullshit. And I was like scrambling. This is just sitting there on the couch. And I was just scrambling. I was scrambling to find something to build back my personality. I had nothing. It was like I was a fucking vegetable. And I was like, all right, what have I got? What have I got? I'm funny, I think. I'm funny. And then I was like, no, you're not funny. That was all bullshit too. And then the other side of me was like, no, think about it. And I went through everything. When I was like a kid to primary school, high school, fucking university, moving states, going to different schools. And the evidence kept on piling up. Yes, all right, I'm funny. Maybe I was only funny because I was fucking tearing shreds off other people or abusing someone or something like that, but I was still making people laugh. It's like, I think, therefore I am. That bullshit. As long as people are laughing, it's funny. So the evidence was mounting, and on the couch that day, that was the only thing that saved me. I had that little fucking germ of a foundation to rebuild my fucking personality. And that was that I was funny. I felt like I was objectively funny, not subjectively. Which again, if you asked most of the people I've known throughout my life, they would disagree. But on the couch there that day trying to rebuild my personality, I was objectively funny. So I knew then, I was like, all right, I'm just going to fucking try and make people laugh. And then, of course, I didn't. It still took me like another year after that to start comedy. And then I was fucking in and out. And then I got boozing heavy again. And I forgot all that shit. And then I rebuilt my personality on some other fucking crap. But that was the moment I would say that I decided I'm going to be a stand-up or a comedian. So yeah, that's it. I hope I answered your question. And just lastly, the top 5 comedians of all time. That's a bad question. That is like asking your top 5 bands or your top 5 songs or whatever. But I'll throw some out there. These are the guys who have probably made me laugh the most. Louis C.K., Bill Burr, Doug Stanhope, Patrice O'Neill, Dave Chappelle before he became a preacher. Even now, I still like Dave Chappelle. And then some fucking honorable mentions. They could easily slide into the top 5 as well. Colin Quinn, Dave Attell, Kurt Metzger, Nate Bargatze, Eddie Pepitone. There's heaps. There's so many. But yeah, that's just to name a few. Throw Billy Connolly in there as well. I love fucking Billy. Anyway, I hope I answered your question. That'll do for tonight. And I'll see ya the fuck later.